Hello, once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of The Card is Going to Change. And before we get into this week's episode, as always, we want to give a thanks to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free on whichever platform you choose to listen. Hey, thanks to the merger between SmartMark Video and IWTV, watching AIW has never been easier. If you go to smartmarkvideo.com, you can purchase any DVD that AIW has ever put out. You can also purchase any show that AIW has ever had recorded, available for MP4. If streaming services are more your thing, then you can go to independentwrestling.tv, sign up, use the code ABSOLUTE so they know that we sent you. We get a little bit of a kickback. It's very nice and convenient for us, of course, but all the more convenient for you. For just $9.99 a month, you can watch a rotating archive of AIW shows, plus live AIW streams, and other independent wrestling promotions as well, along with original series from IWTV. And of course, thanks to Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. You may have been able to have a little bit when you were at the last show at the Odeon, but check out Smokin_Jay's BBQ on all social media to see what sort of food they have to offer. They do some fantastic work in terms of catering, and they've also got a spot down in the Maslin area. So give them a look and see what sort of delicious food they can provide for you at your next event. And other than that, we roll into this week's show. Of course, as always, joined by AIW owner John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. We've got much to get to. We've got a show coming up this week.
Much to get to.
Thursday.
It's a hard sell. Hard sell, baby.
It is a hard sell. It's a hard sell week. We've got our Winchester show, Cibernetico De Mayo, on this Thursday at the Winchester in Lakewood, Ohio. We're going to talk a little bit about Eyes of the Beast. We haven't been able to do that yet. But we can't get into all of it without doing the shout-out segment, John Thorne. So I've got a few shout-outs. I don't know if you have any. But leading off, big shout-out, one of our members of the commentary team at AIW, the newest member of the AIW commentary team, got himself a massive, well-deserved promotion in his I guess you'd call it 9-to-5 job.
Got to be the fastest ascent ever, I think. Right? Since coming to AIW, it's got to be like
absolutely.
Rise to power.
Yeah. So shout out to Nathan Zagura, who takes over for the legendary Doug Deacon, now your color commentator on the Cleveland Browns game day broadcast alongside Jim Donovan. That's very awesome for him. Very excited for him. He's going to do a great job. Absolutely. He's already had a taste of it in games where he's had to fill in. So natural, great fit. But I guess, nothing's ever assumed in any line of work. So
yeah, I don't know.
Cool
I mean,
though.
I don't know how legitimate it is, but I do think that, from what he said, I don't know if he's, stroking my ego or anything, but he did say that the AIW commentary work helped him secure the position. So I assume maybe he put a reel together or something of that nature to go on top of his other body of work. But yeah, he was also unsure if he would still, be allowed to, work with AIW since, this is a big time contract. He already works for the Browns, but this is, certainly a step up to be their, full time color person essentially. Like Duke said, that stuff kind of, and privately he said, this is a real big deal because that stuff typically goes to like a player or something like that. So he did say, it did help, but he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to continue. And, shout out to Nathan Zagura. He made sure that the ability to do AIW commentary was a part of the deal, which is pretty crazy to even think about asking that question. I don't think I would ask that question, if it came to, probably the financial terms that he was offered. I don't know if I would question if I could still do AIW, let alone him. So shout out to him.
And yeah, I think that's one of those where easier to ask forgiveness things. If that was me, I would just try to keep doing AIW, and then if they were like, "Hey, we really don't want you to focus on anything else anymore," you're like, "Oh, okay, sorry, my bad."
Yeah, but I
Just
think
let it go.
they were aware of it because he did say it helped. So maybe I have to assume that there was some sort of real or something involved. Either that or he's just bold-faced lying to me in text messages, which, I don't know him that well. So maybe that could be true too. But nonetheless, congratulations to Mr. Nathan Zagara. Great guy. Like, honestly, like such a good dude. He would send AIW stuff out like years and years and years ago. Monsoon Classic would always tag him and stuff, and try to get raise awareness to the Cleveland sports fans. So he's secretly been kind of a long time supporter. And it just took Matthew Cardona to finally get him to show up, and we kind of we told the story, but he was just there to watch the show, and we kind of threw him on commentary, like with no advance notice, trial by fire. We just said, go on, jump on there. And the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, there you go. Other big shout out is to a guy we've not seen at AIW in some time. He is an AIW alum, and man, his career is just skyrocketing right now. And that is Wheeler Yuta. We haven't talked about much about what he's been doing, but he's been doing some awesome things. He's the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. And this weekend? I can't really recall which day it was anymore. But it was announced that he will be in the
best of the Super
NJPW
Juniors. Best of the Super Juniors.
In the best of the Super Juniors.
I think it was announced
a pretty
Saturday.
Awesome thing.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday or Sunday it was announced. But
yeah,
I think he's like the only guy from AEW, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could be completely wrong about that, but yeah, good for him. Great dude. Another, just super great dude. No drama, no nonsense type of guy, just a really good dude, which is, at a time of being a good dude in independent wrestling was a real hard to come by thing, but he is certainly one of the good ones. I don't think you could find a soul on earth to say anything bad about Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely agree. One of these days, he and I still have this ongoing thing where we were talking so much baseball, and we're like, all right, at some point when we get together again, we're going to talk tons and tons of baseball and old school stories, but we haven't been able to yet.
He's big
time now. Big time, yeah. Alex Zane also in that tournament, who folks got to see at AIW more recently, so that's pretty cool too. Other than that, I'm trying to think what other shout outs. Shout out to The Rock as we record this. Dwayne The Rock Johnson celebrating his 50th birthday. I know he's a big avid listener to the show.
Big listener. Dwayne. DJ. I call him DJ.
DJ, you guys are that tight, huh?
Yeah, I call him DJ.
And my other personal shout out goes to a guy that I call Uncle Mike, the Super Pimp. Super Pimp took a little bit of a spill at local Cleveland bars, but he is doing well. I've had some people ask me, including in the student group chat. I got to check on him. Actually, he's supposed to go in for a surgery this week. Get some pins and a now broken leg or ankle. Pins and a plate, but he's on the up and up.
All right.
Yeah. What about you, John Thorne? Any shout outs here?
Oh, I got a shout out. It's maybe bring the mood down, but this can be a nice segue though into what we're going to talk about. Shout out to my dad, who not many people know, like pretty much almost died Tuesday, the week of Eyes of the Beast. Crazy, just stressful time in the personal life. To that Tuesday night at like 11 p.m., I got a text from my sister that said Dad is leaving in an ambulance, and I said, what? So I called her, and she said she had to call me back. The parent, like, she was waiting to talk to a paramedic or something. And yeah, I guess he just, I don't know, just they really had no explanation, honestly, for what happened, but he couldn't breathe, and he was my sister still lives at home, and he was able to call her, but he couldn't talk, and she went into his room to see what was going on, and he turned purple and fell down unconscious. So she called 911, and they had to revive him, and by the time I got out there, he was awake, but he was in like a resuscitation room, which means they had to work on him and bring him back. And so that was going on, with about 3 days to go into this gigantic show. And he was hospitalized. In fact, when the show was getting ready to start, he didn't know what I was doing, but he called me at 7:25. And to give me like an update on everything that was going on. Like on Friday night, he calls me at 7:25. So the show had started, unbeknownst to me. Luckily, we are pretty much a well-oiled machine as far as it goes to go live and get things rolling. But man, just a crazy week. He ended up getting released from the hospital on Sunday, that Sunday, and he's ongoing, complications and things like that. No like official, I guess, diagnosis other than he smoked for a lot of years and worked in a factory around chemicals. I guess his lungs are just it's deteriorating somewhat, so he was just unable to catch his breath, and they think maybe that caused him to have a panic attack. And but yeah, ongoing, just crazy week for and that's why it was extra awesome with how like just heavily attended and the support and everything that we had on that Friday night at Eyes of the Beast, because man, I was like totally just like exhausted mentally throughout the week.
Yeah, and we'll get into Eyes of the Beast here, but Dad's doing okay now, right? He's out of the hospital, and
he is out of the
feeling better
hospital.
At least.
He's not feeling great. It's getting to that point to where they want like him to be near like an oxygen source of some sort. So they had to like put all this stuff in his house, and they want people like nurses checking on him, which he is very against. As most of our parents are, they don't want to kind of submit to father time or health issues. So that's been a little bit of a I don't want to say debate, but it's stubbornness, so I've just been dealing with that stuff, but he's doing better. They got him set up at home. He's adjusting, I guess, to the situation. And he was diagnosed with liver cancer not that long ago, so all sorts of kind of things happening that he's not really prepared to accept at this point. So, that's kind of difficult situation to be in when you gotta try to talk sense into a parent. But
Yeah.
that's
Oh yeah.
been, that's been my last couple weeks. And that's also why, the Cibernetico De Mayo stuff, announcements, and just getting things together have been a little slower than usual, just because it's just been a crazy couple weeks in my life, just dealing with the personal stuff, and then you're juggling the full-time job and trying to get all this stuff sorted out. So much so that the card was for this Thursday had to change a little bit as of like, I don't know, half hour, an hour ago. We had to shift some things around. So yeah, just been crazy.
What? Yeah. Well, let's use this, I guess, a little bit of a escapism, so to speak, and talk about some fun things. Yeah, Eyes of the Beast. You said it, man. The turnout was fantastic. We knew going in that we were going to have a fantastic turnout. Pre-sale was great. We had some sales at the door. Uh, Man, we're beyond the shout out segment here at this point, but even still, a huge shout out to everybody that came out for that. And made that an unbelievable success. We've talked to some people who watched it at home, and they felt that energy coming through their TV screen or whatever screen they were watching in. And some of those people I talked to said, "Man, it felt as much like being there as possible because of how great that crowd was." And they, a little bit of FOMO from some folks who just weren't able to make it to the show.
I do want to give a one last shout out. I want to give a shout out to Pedro, who, man, like having that task and trying to coordinate everything on a show day like that to that capacity when we haven't had so many moving parts in such a long time. I mean, the Shrine shows have, obviously exceeded that, and the show at the Four Sports in Eastlake exceeded the attendance. But like this one just had so many weird moving parts, and I am going to give a anti shout out, a bit of an annoyance, and what caused so many of the issues were there were like all these last minute refund requests, and then we would put the ticket on sale, and then somebody would buy the ticket, and then this one guy bought a ticket, refunded the ticket, bought the same ticket again, bought another ticket, refunded it. Like it was just stuff like that was going on, and poor Pedro was trying to sort through all of these last minute changes. And listen, we appreciate 100% the support and the purchasing of tickets. And I know it's probably, there were circumstances for everything. And, we did have a high volume of tickets. So, sold. So there's more of these situations that are going to arise, but it was, down to the wire trying to figure out what we had left, what we had to sell, who got refunded, who didn't, because, we still are assigning the seats because, even through COVID with the lower attendance, that was constantly an issue. So we are trying to maintain, the labeling of the seats. And it was just such a task. And, I know Pedro was about at his wit's end as well as, it was just felt, it felt like such high pressure, at Eyes of the Beast for whatever reason, more so than, we felt in a long time. And, I don't know what caused it, but it was just like that show just felt like a tremendous burden of stress for whatever reason. I think we were all feeling it that day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Pedro is one of the main cogs in the wheel that is show day for AIW. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Um, yeah, truthfully, that's a guy that deserves a shout out every single time we do this podcast, but for everything that he does with that and the stress and the burdens that he takes on with it. But we got through it. He even had to add those 4 extra seats for Mr. Miz
Yeah,
showing
shout
up
out to
and
George. George was in the house.
had his VIP section. But I mean, at some point we can, because this is all hard sell day, we don't have to recap the whole show of Eyes of the Beast. We can kind of come back and talk about it because, now that we're somewhat getting together with people again, that's a fun one that we can talk about with them. But what are some of your takeaways? I guess we could start. I mean, we might as well just start with Suzuki in general. Um, for me, I didn't get to talk to him very much, but very nice guy. And then in general, to me, one of the top 5 to 10 moments I think that I've gotten to be witness to or part of within AIW. Easily, I would say one of the top 5 Odeon moments was that Suzuki entrance.
Yeah, when everybody's saying,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I didn't, I didn't talk to him too much either. I mean, it was just hello, thank you, stuff like that. We set him up with his own kind of private room in the back, so he was kind of left alone to himself, and until it was time to go. And when he was done, we got him, back to his hotel so he could get some rest, because I know that he has been on the road for this tour for like a crazy amount of time. So
Yeah.
it was very businesslike. It was just hello, nice to meet you, thank you, here's your money, sort of thing. And shout out to I know he's a freelancer, but New Japan certainly helped us coordinate all that, and they're very integral in making this a reality. So very happy with with everything, honestly. I guess the only downfall is I feel like we could have probably sold 1,000 tickets with how things are going. And there's just not a venue that we could have, it's tough because the Odeon, I think, is perfect. I just wish it was a smidge bigger sometimes, like for situations like this. But yeah, it felt great. The energy of the crowd. I mean, I feel, we don't have to break down the whole card, but I feel like this show was return form. And a little inside baseball, after the last Tadmore Shrine show, I sat down and I gathered, most of the AIW lieutenants, so to speak, and I presented a list of things that I think that we are not doing well. And the thing that I don't think people realize is the shows have been good. The shows have been greatly attended. But that doesn't 100% satisfy me as far as, what I think our potential is and what we can do. And, I wrote down just all, the Akron show was great. And I wrote down all these things that I thought were wrong with it. And, I think that it's kind of, I don't know if that's my mentality, because I never really am pleased with too much of anything. But I felt that there was a lot of things that we were neglecting, and we were just kind of doing what we needed to do to get through the pandemic. And I know people will debate the status of the pandemic, but it feels like we've reached the point of no return finally. Whether people agree with that or not, I'm not going to debate that, but I felt that after the last Akron show, there were a lot of things that we needed to address if we were going to return to any sort of normalcy and return to form and return to where we were headed. And I made a gigantic list and I presented it to everybody. And I'm not going to get into it, but I feel like when this show was being put together, I tried my hardest to apply that as far as the booking and all these different things that I felt were missing show wise. And I will still find things that need to be improved upon, but I felt finally at Eyes of the Beast that we had figured it out. At least it may, and I don't want to jinx myself, and maybe it's a one night only thing that we figured it out, but it felt like everything that I wanted to fix was fixed and things fell into place.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that we talked about a little bit was kind of ordering of matches. I know you weren't too happy with how you did it in a show or two previously. And, because that certainly impacts the crowd. And I mean, it seems like they were hot and stayed with us all night. So I think that worked out well. We talked about returning, a 6-person scramble. We brought that back. Everybody was high energy for that, and that certainly lived up to it. Some of those, as you always refer to, car crash type matches are always a fun AIW staple. And really, we had 2 of those within here between the 4-way that was just unbelievable with Tom Lawler, Kaplan, PB Smooth, and Josh Bishop, and that 6-person scramble. So, all of that was so good, top to bottom. I mean, if you have not watched this show on IWTV yet, I mean, good Lord, from the opening match of 9 to 5 and the main event to, Shazza McKenzie and Jocelyn, to the rematch of Jackson Stone and Dom Guarini. I mean, just everything. Oh, Matt, I mean, I know we're not going to go break it down match by match, but like everything delivered, I think, on this show. The AIW present of Derek Dillinger versus AIW's past of Matt Cross. What an unbelievable match that was, and in contrast of styles, and was just so great. And obviously, we talked about the Suzuki match, and there's the entrance and that unbelievable moment. But it's such a star-making performance for anyone who was tuning in because Suzuki was on the show. I mean, what a star-making performance for Isaiah Broner, who has been busting his ass, well-deserved, and he was ready for it, man. The moment was not too big for Isaiah Broner, and just so proud of that performance that he gave in that match too.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with all of it, honestly. Maybe one or two little things I would have changed, but all in all, and Whiskers agrees, it was I was very happy with it. That doesn't happen very often. But I was happy that I was able to be realistic about what was lacking and be honest with myself and be honest kind of with the inner circle of sorts as to what I think we need to do and what we and how we need to continue to make some adjustments moving forward. So yeah, I was happy with everything.
The other The other big moment that comes from the show that's being talked about, I'd be remiss if I did not bring up, happens in our main event, the championship match between Matt Cardona and Josh Prohibition, and little Sophia Prohibition gets involved in this thing, and it's taken the internet by storm this week. Over the last week plus now at this point.
Yeah,
What
that was pretty crazy. I mean, admittedly, if I probably would have known too much about that in advance, I probably would have been like, I don't know about this, but that's just one of those things. I felt that we were lacking moments, and there it was. What a moment that was. Just incredible. Probably well over 1 million views on social media at this point. I know that was very special for Josh Prohibition. So yeah, I mean, just that's what it's all about, right? I mean, just stuff like that is just, you can't plan that. You can't, fabricate that sort of reaction. And man, it was just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about getting the crowd invested in a match and emotionally, and those two, the whole lead up and build up, and Josh's distaste for Matt Cardona because he didn't really do much time or do any time, so to speak, on the indies, and didn't do things the right way according to Josh, and Cardona just not understanding and being as brash as he is. And then even talking trash to Sophia during the course of the match and her getting in. I mean, if you are a wrestler and, you're like, okay, I don't do dives and flippy stuff. I'm kind of strong. I could pull off some moves. I can be in a match. I could do some technical stuff. But you're just wondering what else you can bring and how to get a crowd behind you. We talked about it many times. It's that emotional investment in a match and telling a story within a match. I would say go back and watch this one. Now, they don't all, and not everybody has a daughter, of course, to get involved in a matchup. I'm not saying that they should do that, but there is just such a great feel of pro wrestling storytelling throughout that main event matchup, I think.
Yeah, and that's really what I wanted it to be for the most part. I know, Cardona has been put through the ringer with the shooters and doors and all sorts of things. I really wanted to have a great, traditional main event style main events. And the fact that, that viral moment came out of it was even better. But very, very excited with how the show went, all in all.
All right, let's shift gears. We'll cover that thing, break that sucker down match by match at another day. But of course, folks, go watch that. It's on IWTV right now. You can watch the replay. Let's talk about this Thursday, Cibernetico De Mayo. This comes from an homage to Chikara has done this. Had done this.
I will say this to cut you off. I now hear what Ed Bates is always complaining about, it, and it's 100% on your end. I hear it.
What is it?
I hear it's like a little. I don't know if it's if your microphone is on like an arm or something, but it's a little. I don't know if you touch it, but there's a little right there. It just did it. It's a little like. Just a little clanging sort of thing going on. I've never paid attention to it, and now I just heard it. There it is.
No, all I'm doing is holding it. I wonder if my cord's not in all the way. It's making a.
It could be your cord. I think your cord. I think the mic is so sensitive. If maybe the cord is hitting or moving, and it's picking it up.
Heck if I know. I'll have to put it back on the arm. I haven't put it on an arm yet, so I just hold it the whole time. So I'm sure it's probably something I'm doing. All right, so let's talk about this though. this whole thing, the Cibernetico is going to be our main event. You've got Team Guarini versus Team Carrington. Why this idea? Why now, John Thorne?
Honestly, did not realize when we set all these dates, did not realize it was Cinco de Mayo. And I guess kind of funny that I just said that, but I think Ed Bates was the one that was like, "Hey, what are you doing for Cinco de Mayo?" And I was like, that's not like, I don't eat Mexican food. Like, that's not like a day that like stands out to me ever, So I'm like, what? I don't know. What are you talking about? And he's like, "Oh, that's that's on the list of dates." And I went, "Oh, fuck." Okay. And then I don't know. Like, it just came into my head, Cibernetico De Mayo, and I said, "Dom, send me a promo shot with your stupid luchador mask on, and I think we're gonna do this, and we're gonna figure it out later." And that's really the story behind it, honestly. It's not some like dream of mine to do a Cibernetico or anything like that. I just think that it fit, based on the fact that we were doing an event on Cinco de Mayo, give a little Mexican flair to the event. Certainly probably not going to see too many luchadors in the Winchester, but, figured that we could, go along with the theme of the holiday, have a little fun, give a a crazy sort of concept match to 16 of the roster members, and kind of challenge them a little bit to study. And I'm sure it's going to be very long. It can't be, everything can't be called, as they say in the wrestling locker room. So it's going to be a learning experience for 16 participants, and that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah. So as of this recording right now, there's a draft taking place, and there are still multiple people to be drafted to both teams, Team Guarini and Team Carrington. Casey, with the most recent draft pick, now rounding out his team, is the Duke, Eric Taylor from the Bitcoin Boys, and one half of the AIW Tag Team Champions, Philly Collins. So that's his team right now. Some guys who are actually good at team action. So that works for him. On the other side, Team Guarini, he's still got a lot more drafting to do. He's currently on the clock, but he's got Wes Barkley and Arthur MacArthur thus far. Make sure you're following AIW on social media at AI Wrestling. You're going to see the draft.
Hold on. I think I think his pick is in.
Pick is
obviously in. Obviously it is this will be announced by the time this podcast comes out, but let me take a look and see. Here's the little draft bell go off.
I think that was just Whiskers.
Right, Whiskers is running amok in the office today.
Team Guarini is now on the clock.
Chuck Stone. Wow. So, that's the first. We have a complete tag team on Team Guarini. That's a first.
Oh, we do. Yeah. How about that? We've got bulking season. So right now it's
I don't know how
Guarini.
I don't really know how I would rate either team right now.
Do you feel like it's pretty even?
I mean, there are pros and cons to both sides.
Guarini's definitely got the overall size. Well, maybe not. Philly and the Duke, maybe. Well,
I was thinking about it, and it's just like, well, you think Team Guarini is more stacked, but then you have Philly Collins, tag champion, the Duke, who is, just
dastardly.
And just years of experience well educated, in the ring and out. So no, I assume that the Duke was the first pick to kind of moneyball this team for Casey Carrington. That is why I think the Duke went 1 overall. I mean, I really have no other explanation other than he wanted to utilize the Duke's expertise in things.
Yeah, I mean, the Duke knows how to, not only does he know how to manipulate a match in general, but he knows how to work a multi-man match. And he's like a good player coach, if that makes sense,
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got that boot.
It's got that boot, the wild card. Not really a whole lot of in-ring rules to Cibernetico, if I remember this right? Like it's pretty loose, luchador style rules.
Well, so Arthur MacArthur did put a video out trying to explain it.
He did, yeah.
So it's teams of 8, but you have to set a batting order like baseball. Mm-hmm. So, your leadoff wrestler and the other team's leadoff wrestler, they wrestle. Then there's a man on deck, man in the hole, and then the rest of the lineup. So it can go tag. You could tag out, or you can roll underneath the bottom rope for a lucha tag. And then the next person in the lineup, whoever's on deck, must enter the ring. But it's only 1-on-1. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, I mean, it really is going to depend on how they set these batting orders. There's so many different facets to this match. I really don't know how it's going to go. It's either going to be great or it's going to be a total disaster. But we'll see.
And just because one team moves on in their batting order doesn't mean the other team has to move on in theirs.
Correct.
You can
you could just, if you can beat them, you can beat them. And then, as people are eliminated, they are removed from the batting order. And say if one team has multiple people left, then they must wrestle each other until there's only one winner.
So there you go. That's an important part of this that people need to know.
So it's not.
So even though they are on teams,
it's not a team. It's not a team event. I mean, it is and it isn't, because once you go through the opposing team, you must then go through whoever's left on your team. So there's one winner of the Cibernetico De Mayo.
That's it. One person overall will be the victor on this. So this could get really interesting. I mean, you could have a team that does a clean sweep, and then they 8-0, and then they compete against each other.
And then who you draft could become your worst nightmare. Because
that's true.
They could be the ones that take you out.
Yeah, and a lot of nuances to that there, because then. Let's say, as we now know it, Team Guarini wins, and they've got all 8 guys. Well, you got to assume that bulking season's going to work together, and then we could get in a scenario where bulking season are the final 2 guys, and
they got to fight each other.
Chuck and Arthur going right after each other.
They have to fight each other. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. Hopefully, it turns out. At the end of the day, I hope it's just entertaining. For however long it goes on. I imagine, you got to go through 15 eliminations. This one is going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. And this is not the only matchup on the show, for everybody wondering. While it will take up a bulk of the time, there are other things happening on this show already announced. Members only taking on 2 Infinity and Beyond, and members only coming off a great showing. They came up a little bit short in the Odeon, but taking on really, even though they're not the tag champs, they're still one of the measuring sticks in AIW when it comes to tag team competition, with Colin and Cheech there on the other side of the ring with them on this night.
Yeah, I just thought that this was a great opportunity for members only. They've been working incredibly hard and doing great every time we throw some sort of new scenario at them. Colin and Cheech are the measuring stick, uh, and whether members only wins or loses, I think is irrelevant. Honestly, as crazy as that sounds, I think when you're in there with Colin and Cheech, they force you to be better. And I think everybody wants that for members only. So this is, win, lose, or draw for members only. I don't think that matters. This is really a gift to them to go out and test themselves, but not only test themselves, learn and gain knowledge from who I feel are probably the most elite tag team on the independents right now, Colin and Cheech, to infinity and beyond.
Yeah, why they are still on the independents, I think, is pun unintended, but beyond anybody's realm of thought. These two should be, I don't know. If I had a big money wrestling promotion and I wanted younger wrestlers to get better, and I could pay somebody to work with them in any style of match or on television or whatever the case may be and make them look good or do anything, I'd be hiring Colin and Cheech all day long.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
We also have some singles competition. We've got a rematch of a matchup that took place in Akron. Katie Arquette and Jocelyn Navarro are set to do battle again this Thursday, this time from the Winchester.
Yeah, I think this was really one of the shining moments from the last Tadmore Shrine show in Akron. And selfishly, I just wanted to see it again. That's there's no big storyline or anything like that. I just think that they worked very well together. They both were very aggressive, and it was shockingly a bit of a brawl at times, a hard hitting encounter. And I just thought, what better than to put them in the intimate environment of the Winchester and just let them go out there and fucking throw down again. That's it. I mean, that's it. Honestly, I just want to. I want to see it again. I thought it was great to watch last time, and I just wanted to see it again.
Hey, you don't need a better explanation than that. Another singles matchup on here. Two guys that we've seen in scrambles or multi-man matches, but this time they're going to go one-on-one. We're going to see Johnny Patch versus Riley Rose.
Yeah,
it's a good opportunity for both these guys to finally go one-on-one,
I thought that they both had excellent showings at Eyes of the Beast, and that's the benefit of the cards at the Winchester. They're a little looser as far as what we can do and experimentation and things of that nature. And I thought, let's throw these guys out there and let them go for it. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And then, folks, we have a couple of tag team debuts on this card. In one matchup, you've got 9 to 5. They're not new to anybody here at AIW. You've seen them over the last several months. Taking on the Bang Bros.
Yeah, Bang Bros have been very impressive at Black Label. I know they do freelance Underground. Also, I won't reveal what they did, but they were on the super secret Gathering of the Juggalos roster over the summer, helping out. And that was a very AIW heavy crew, but they were involved in that as well. And great guys, super motivated, hungry to get out there. Not always an opportunity to get on a Tadmore Shrine or a Odeon card. So, again, this is another example of being able to try some things out and experiment. So we're going to give the Bang Bros a shot.
Well, there you go. And then on the other side of things, another tag team matchup, which will feature a new tag team debuting. You have the Von Englands, Sid and Eden. They are back in action, and they are taking on a team where we've seen one competitor compete as a singles, but he will be teaming up with his regular tag team partner. It is the team of Money Shot. Zach Nystrom is someone we've seen at AIW, but his regular tag team partner, the Man Dime, is going to be in on this thing as well. Elijah
Yeah,
Dean.
we've seen Nystrom a few times. Elijah Dean, the Man Dime, he has been coming around and showing his face for a long time. Honestly, it's close to a year that he's been coming around and just being available if we needed him. And unfortunately, no opportunities opened up. So this is throwing them a bone and seeing what they can do as a tag team. Even Zach Nystrom's been out with an injury, and they have still been making the trip from the Pittsburgh area and coming and helping out, and stuff like that. It goes a long way. Now, I do preface that with I don't want a single file line of wrestlers showing up on show days,
Right.
but it's just one of those things to where they've come around and they've helped out and shown face, and we're gonna. You can't always make a guarantee on some of the bigger cards that those go to mostly roster members first, but gonna give them a shot here at the Winchester. And that's what I love about these shows. I know it's redundant and I say it every time, but it's really fun to kind of be a little looser around the not being so tied to the booking of where things are going as far as some of the major stories and matchups that we're building to at the Odeon or the Tadmor Shrine. We're able to just do a little bit more here, and sometimes you may only see somebody at a Winchester show one time, and other times they could develop into a full-time roster member.
Yeah, and this may be Zach's first match back from injury. If not his very first, it's certainly one of. Off the top of my head, I can't think of if he has been anywhere else since really coming out and returning from this. So it'll be good to see him back in action. And as we said, these guys team up regularly outside of AIW, so it'll be good to have them together here. And the Von Engelens, we have not seen in a little while. It's been a few months. This is hardly a reward for welcoming them back, because these fellows at Money Shot, man, they are jacked. So
yeah,
the work is cut out for the Von Engelens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to see what happens. I think it's one of those things that's you see who's available and who wants an opportunity, and it's not necessarily always the best opportunity, but I think the Von Engelens are certainly prepared for it. They've been working extensively, outside of AIW. So I'm interested to see, how they've developed as well.
Well, you talk about opportunities, and the final match I'll throw out there for this Thursday. Somebody's going to get an opportunity. I don't know if it's going to be a positive one, but it's up for them to make the best of it. We've got an open challenge for Isaiah Broner. And we're putting it out there. Might as well put it out there right now, so that if somebody wants to answer this calling, they can do it. Isaiah is a man of few words. He believe he told you, hey, he wants a match. He wants to have a singles match. Loves fighting at the Winchester. And John Thorne, I think you said okay, and just throwing an open challenge out there for him.
I mean, I literally have no opponent for him at this time, so it is certainly an open challenge.
Yeah.
Reach out to Dom if you're looking to step up, because I mean, it is open. We don't really have a willing participant as of right now to get in there with Isaiah Broner. But
Yeah,
he is
safe to
booked.
say 99 Problems isn't going to hit over the speakers for
Oh
this one.
no, oh no, I might not even show up. To be honest with you, but yeah, I don't know who he's going to wrestle. I mean, this isn't a tease either. It's not, it's also not get our hopes up a little bit too much. We did have to shuffle the card around, like I said earlier. So things are fluid, much like the Baker Mayfield roster situation. The opponent for Isaiah Broner for this Thursday is fluid. There's a lot of moving parts going on. So
Sports guy John Thorne
you like
visiting
that?
us here on the podcast.
You like that?
Did you listen to Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski talk recently, huh?
I don't know where the fuck I pulled that one out of, but
that's what they constantly say about the Baker Mayfield situation. So
it's fluid.
There you go.
It's fluid.
The Isaiah Broner Open Challenge, also a fluid situation.
Could be. I mean, it just could be. I mean, you could be sorely disappointed by who he's going to end up wrestling on Thursday, or you could be excited. I don't know. I mean, I honestly have no idea who he's going to wrestle yet this Thursday.
Here's the thing. I don't know that people are necessarily disappointed in Isaiah Broner matchups, right? Because if it's somebody that comes out and people are like, oh, this is going to be really good, or it's going to be somebody that comes out and everybody's going to be like, oh, he is going to just beat the shit out of him, and I'm going to love it. It's typically how it goes with our audience and Isaiah Broner.
We're going to see.
They love whatever he does. So,
well, we're recording this Monday, so I got about 2.5 days to figure it out. So,
all right, there you go. I know this is already going to be a question. Are we, what's the word, streaming live from Winchester this Thursday?
Yes. I believe everything streams live except for shows at the Tadmore Shrine. They are live to tape, and they try to get them up as soon as possible. But the Winchester and the Odeon shows, I believe, are always going to stream live. And then, other venues are certainly questionable.
There you go. So if you're curious to see all these matches and to see how the Cibernetico matchup actually goes down, you can watch it live this Thursday on IWTV. Some tickets still do remain for the Winchester. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty low amount that's still available.
Okay.
Based on how packed it was last time, we scaled it back as far as availability for this show. So I would say, we'll probably move about 25 more.
Okay. All right, there you go. Shop.aiwrestling.com if you want to get those tickets, folks. For everyone else, yeah, if you haven't spent your $9.99 a month, if you've got that to fit into the budget, I encourage you to do so, especially because, look, this month in particular, as we told you, the Tadmore Shrine shows aren't live, but they are up very shortly after. So for $10 this month, you can get 2 brand new AIW shows. You're going to stream live this week on IWTV, and then May 21st is Gauntlet for the Gold at the Tadmore Shrine. Shortly thereafter, if you're unable to make it to Akron, Ohio, you get to watch that on IWTV. So that's a hell of a deal.
I guess I should give an update on that too.
Yeah.
All premium tickets are sold out for Gauntlet for the Gold.
Okay.
We released an additional 4th row, and it is already gone. So all that is remaining is GA, which, I would act quick as far as if you want to attend live. We are, still weeks out, and it is looking like a pretty hot ticket. So I would certainly act sooner than later. Same thing for the Winchester this Thursday, honestly. I mean, like I said, we're looking to move about 25 more tickets. So, yeah, but that Gauntlet show, I mean, with weeks to go, is it's a monster. It's looking like a monster.
All right.
So, honestly, we did have a lot of those carryover tickets for sure.
We did.
But we released, additional rows, and those went almost instantly. So only general admission available. Much like the Odeon was rocking for Eyes of the Beast, it felt like the last Tadmore show was a little lighter than what we've had in the past, and we are looking to fill that place to capacity on May the 21st, and I wholeheartedly think that we can do it.
Hell yeah, there you go, folks. And then again, this Thursday, about 25 tickets left to go for Cibernetico De Mayo. A lot to be intrigued by on this card. Go to shop.aiwrestling.com if you want to come to Lakewood, Ohio and watch the show in person at the Winchester. If you can't make it to the Winchester in Lakewood, again, watch it on IWTV. We will be streaming live this Thursday night. 7:30 bell time.
Yeah, 7:30.
There you go. 7:30 bell time. So set your clocks, your watch, whatever.
Synchronize your watches.
Synchronize your watches and your calendars for this Thursday if you're going to watch it via IWTV. And if you've yet to sign up for IWTV, just like I told you at the top of the show, go to independentwrestling.tv, use the code ABSOLUTE so they know that we sent you, and subscribe for just $9.99 a month.
Yeah, I think that, that's the big goal. And I know that IWTV is slowly adding more to the archive, from the archive available on the service. I would really love if we could double where we're at now as far as monthly hours viewed. I won't, get into all that, analytical things, but I really think that we could double it. That's the goal going forward, especially with like this month, you're going to get two shows. With, if we can keep the momentum going as far as live attendance, building our hours viewed and, our IWTV and, Smart Rock video numbers back up, I think is the next big goal. But that goal, is contingent on we continue the live event attendance momentum. It's kind of multifaceted thing to try to keep, both things climbing. It's hard to juggle and keep both numbers climbing. But I think we can do it. I think, even with this podcast, our numbers are way back up compared to where they were throughout the pandemic. So, we appreciate the support. We hope you continue to support us because we have a very ambitious second half of the year coming up, especially the summer. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of exciting stuff planned for the summer.
All right, John Thorne, I'm going to leave with this because we talked about streaming numbers. The last time we spoke was a couple weeks ago before Eyes of the Beast. It was the week of. Going into it, you said you had a goal in mind for the stream numbers. Did you hit the goal?
To be honest, I did not inquire. I was so excited with how everything went. I forgot, honestly.
Well, that's, you know what? Maybe that's for the best so that you could keep the excitement rolling into this week. You could check and we'll get that answer another day.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Anything else you want to mention about this?
No, I mean, I'm just, I'm excited. I hope that we do sell those remaining few tickets for the Winchester. They did double book the room and they forgot, and they tried to get us to move the date after we already started selling tickets. And I said no. So we do, we do have to have a nice showing for the Winchester because, I mean, it was their mistake, but don't want them to regret sticking with us and not the tour that they had to decline. So yeah, come on out Thursday. I hope it all turns out well.
All right, there you have it, folks. Gave you all the details before. No need to do it again, but we hope to see you, or at the very least, you see us this Thursday from the Winchester. For AIW owner John Thorne, my name is Steve Guy. For anyone we don't see or talk to this week, we'll talk to you next time right here on The Card is Going to Change.